Not sure if this counts as a round of applause because we've already seen one a bit earlier in the video. So I hope you've enjoyed the cars we've seen so far. We've still got another field full of unexceptional cars, some exceptional cars left to see. So stick with us and we'll show you a few more. Launched at the 1982 Motor Show, making its debut was the Sierra, replacing the Cortina. This one's an early car. In fact, it's an 83, but it's original right down to those dustbin lid wheel trims that the early cars had. It's in this lovely beige colour. We'll try and get a look inside that car as well. And it's a 1600 GL, no less. Wow. Really controversial step after the Cortina, but eventually picked up one or two feature changes. You'll see here this one is without those stabilising wings that were fitted due to issues in crosswinds that were fitted on later cars. What a survivor this is. It's a Datsun 180B station wagon. Looks like it's got Wolf Race alloys on there by the look of it. But that's about the only modification. Is it a UK car? I'm not quite sure. Maybe it is. It's from 1980. Love that wood panel on the back door, reminiscent of a lot of American station wagons. Wow. Again, another rare one. So we've got an Alfa 75 twin spark LE. I think 75 to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Alfa Romeo. And I may have mentioned in the previous video, but the doors, you'll see the cladding at the top of the wings and the doors. Basically, the reason it's used on the doors is to actually disguise the fact that they were reused from the previous Giulietta. The doors were in fact carried forward with that trim. So I love the way that line kinks up to the back. It's a transaxle design, I believe, so the gearbox is over the rear axle, giving perfect weight distribution, and the twin spark engine should have plenty of performance. Another French fancy here, a Renault 19. Predecessor, I think direct predecessor to the Megane. The 19 was available in this hatchback format, or also as the 19 Chamard, which was the four-door version. Again, this is a 1.4 petrol, pretty unusual to see these. But here you go. What a treat. So this car ticks a lot of boxes in terms of rarity. It's a Tuscan beige. I can be certain about that because my dad had a Tuscan beige one. A Tuscan beige Series 2 Granada pre-facelift. So it's got the pre-facelift grille on there. And in actual fact, it's also super unusual in that this particular one is actually a 2.3, which is the V6 engine, so more common with the larger engines or even the smaller 2 litres. But super to see that here today. So I'm not sure if this counts as a round of applause because we've already seen one a bit earlier in the video, but this is a UK car, an official UK Daihatsu applause. Daihatsu were the first Japanese car company to actually import vehicles into the UK, so it's quite fitting that this one's here. This is the affectionately known as Moss. It's the last one on UK roads. It's got a very, very unusual design at the back, where in actual fact it is a liftback, but it looks like it's a booted version, as the owner's just demonstrating. Replacing the E30 BMW in showrooms, I think around 1991, the first cars I remember seeing were H-plated. This is a later K-plated car from probably about 1993. I quite like the E36. Dynamically, it's supposedly not as good as the E46, but stylistically wise, I prefer the E36 to be honest. So built at Luton by Vauxhall was an Isuzu based four-wheel drive plug-in, the Vauxhall range, the hole in the range, also available as a 3-door, and it's the Vauxhall Frontera. So looking like something dropped off by aliens from another planet, it is fabulous Citroen CX. It's a later facelift car, G-plated one. What's that make it? 89, 90? My car's a 90, so I guess it might be a 90. Sat on the ground, its hydropneumatic suspension is nicely settled. Got those lovely bottle top type alloy wheels, those big, fabulously big, comfortable French seats, those controls, fingertip controls for no stalks there, just fingertip controls for things like the wipers and the indicators. Fabulous, isn't it? So here's a Mark I Astra, and this one's the EXP, so if gold and black float your boat, you've come to the right place. We've got the gold highlights on the grille. Not enough gold for you? Okay, well, we've got the gold band that goes all the way down the side. And completing the picture, even got some gold wheels. How about that? By 1983, the Volvo 244 had evolved into the 240. They'd simplified the badging, and what they'd actually done is put the bigger 6-cylinder nose on the car. So instead of the grille being flat, it's been raised and has the bonnet. This China blue one, I'm not sure what the official Volvo colour is, but my dad had one pretty much like this back in the day. I think his was an 82, so just a bit earlier than this. Supplied by Lex in Bristol, apparently. So from Hyundai's back catalogue is this 2002 Ascent. So basically from the days when Hyundai weren't the force they are to be reckoned with now, in both combustion engine and battery electric vehicles, this was them not quite at their beginnings, but relatively early days in the UK, getting established. And this lovely example is well preserved in this stunning green colour. So this 1990 Ford Escort is one of the more base models. We all see how the XR3s and RSs have survived, but this one is a bog standard 1.3 popular. I'm not sure what equipment these got. I know it wasn't a lot. Well, it's got head restraints, I can see that. It's even got a rear wash wipe. Well, we're getting into total luxury here now, aren't we, with this particular car? Again, in lovely order. Nice to see that. Now, you never see a Daff 33 these days, but 2 consecutive weeks it shows I've seen them. So this was the successor to the Daff Daffodil, as I've said on a previous video, which is honestly, it's true, I'm not kidding you. Constantly variable transmission. The company that eventually became part of the Volvo empire, and this continued, I think, as the 66 Daff for a while, 66 Volvo for a while. Wow, the right-hand drive car must be an original UK car. That's incredible, isn't it? So here we've got a Volvo 340. Originally it was a Daff design, but then produced by Volvo. The 343 was originally the 3-door, and then the 345 became the 5-door, and I think they all became merged as 340. This one's in a really unusual grey colour, similar to my own Mercedes. It's in really good nick. I learned to drive in one of these. This is a 86 by the look of it. Now, talking of Nissans, this was the first car to be built in the UK at Sunderland, and it's a 1988 Nissan Bluebird. That square shape, its first challenge, I think, at that sort of time, starting to go up against the Cortina. Extremely well equipped compared with the competition. Again, it probably wasn't due to get the level of success in the UK as a brand until they'd actually launched the Primera. But this one is in absolutely stunning condition. The owner's just putting some last minute touches to it at the moment, so fabulous to see that. So this is a rare one, isn't it? It's a Renault Laguna Series 1. So this, I think, was the direct replacement to the Renault 21, the square car, I think, built with 2 wheelbases or something strange like that. This was much more acceptable and sold better in the fleet market. I think this pioneered the use of the key card, certainly to start the car. Could be wrong, but put that in the comments if not. It's in fantastic order. Shout out to Mark on Motoring, who's an expert on French cars far more than I am, but I'm sure he'll like this if he sees it today. It's glorious. And its next door neighbour is this 1989 Peugeot 205, a later facelift car, but who doesn't have a soft spot for a 205? Anybody that's driven a 205 will probably have fond memories about how well they handled and how nippy they were. And arguably, has Peugeot ever designed anything as pretty since the 205? Some would argue not. A couple of later arrivals in the Concours d'Ordinaire is this fabulous Suzuki Alto from 1984. That's in brilliant condition. Let's just have a look inside. It looks like a UK car. I think the inside's probably as good as the outside. What do you reckon? Fabulous, isn't it? Wow. So this is one of a small number of Cavalier Mark III Diplomats. This one was rescued off a London drive, not being used by Once Driven Forever Smitten, Dougie's channel, so look out for more information about that. I think he's threatening to do a repaint on the car. We'll try and have a chat with him if he's not too busy, but it's great he made it all the way from Scotland down here. And it's still quite busy here, and we've got a Toyota Corolla Liftback. They were sold officially in the UK by Toyota GB, but hardly any of these remain. I think one of these appeared in the Avengers, but I could be wrong. Put it in the comments if you know. But again, all the action's taking place around the back. Lovely checkered interior, and obviously the bit you've been waiting for. This is the Liftback. So this is probably one of the earliest hatchbacks produced, maybe not the earliest, I think maybe the Renault 16 predated it, but of this size, and it's a very early Renault 5 from what, 74 on an N? Looks like it. So Daewoo launched in the UK with a Quibble 3 Promise. I've made a video about that, and I'll put a link to that in the description. And one of the cars they launched with was the Daewoo Espiro. Now I think the styling was Bertone, but in actual fact what's underneath this is the chassis of a Mark II Cavalier. Yes, GM sold them the platform, or rights to the platform, and they produced the Espiro. Rare to see these cars today. They took the market somewhat by storm because of their Quibble 3 motoring promise, which was, I think, 3 years servicing, 3 years warranty, and unfortunately left the market following the collapse of the company. Built at the Nedcar plant at Born near Maastricht in the Netherlands was this Mitsubishi Charisma. Now it shares its platform and many components with the Volvo S and V40 of the time. Although to look at it you wouldn't know it. It's actually from the Netherlands, so it's had quite a journey to get it. It's in this glorious sort of metallic khaki paint. Not sure if I'm doing it any favours by describing it like that, but yeah, a Mitsubishi Charisma. Originally sold as the Chrysler Horizon, this is the Talbot version, the later version of the Horizon, and believe it or not, I think in 1978 it was Car of the Year. You know, we've forgotten about this car long since. This particular version in brown, I think this 1983 car has been entered, I think, into the concourse event before now as well, so lovely to see that one here again. Coming to the show from all the way from Germany is this fabulous R8 Rover. Now this is the unusual 3-door hatch. The 5 doors are more commonplace, but it's got the facelifted grille, as you can see here. A facelift front on the car. It's in British Racing Green, and it's a little beauty, isn't it? So thanks again for joining me on Lot 76 Cars at the fabulous 2023 Festival of the Unexceptional. I hope you enjoyed the cars that we've seen today. So please like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications to be notified of my latest video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.